right, how's it going today, guys? Happy Tuesday. Excited to finally be back for the streams. First things first, big shout out to the stream sponsor over at BitGet. Now, I know there's been some stuff kind of going on with them and, you know, the accounts and trading and all that sort of stuff, but we'll kind of touch on that in a little bit during the stream. They are the perpetual exchange of choice. Some people are able to use it, some people aren't, but, you know, we're going to continue to kind of use them as our main trading for right now. If you guys haven't been to TradeWithCastillo.com, go over there and register. You know, that's going to be where you guys find all my content over here in this VIP members tab. You know, this is going to be where you find my live streams from the past, NPOC updates. Also, I have my Sin Quote Saturday, Sunday videos on here, along with some VIP breakdown segments that happen on Friday. So going to be back to the regular scheduled program this week, doing the stream today instead of on Monday. And then we're going to continue to do our Wednesday video, Friday, Saturday, and just get back to our content. As always, guys, let's just kind of update these NPOC levels. It's kind of unfortunate, right? Because we wanted a retest of this 36549 and we didn't quite get it right. So again, it's still kind of just keeping me on that short-term directional bias to the downside, right? We do have another NPOC level up top, and we can kind of, again, create a game plan, create a level of interest like always, and then we can go from there. The most recent NPOC print is 38116. This is currently what we're looking at right now based off of NPOC levels, right? And all we're going to do is what we normally do, just create setups based on that, right? So the long is still the exact same as it was. I think I created this over when I was in Florida for you guys. So we're going to just keep this the same. And again, 1128 long, always organized on the object tree for trading view. Just it keeps everything nice and tight. Long, and then creating our new short plan. Again, depending on what your bias is, it's still kind of hard to short at these levels, right? But it's also kind of just getting into that resistance that we cannot break above. So currently, if you do have a little bit of a short bias, I think that you could potentially short this level right here and maybe get a retest. So we have our short, we have our long. Currently within this entire setup, not much has happened. It's not anything bad, just because BTC is holding its highs from this entire trend and this entire move up right here. It's just kind of been an upward channel. I've seen a lot of people kind of talk about this channel, and for good reason, right? Is it's holding decent support, holding decent resistance for now. But for us, there's really no reason to continue to follow this channel as long as we're kind of like looking at, you know, NPOC levels, having game plans, things like that. But this is currently what we're looking at. We still have NPOCs down at 34457 and up at 4487. And again, we do have game plans for when price does start to dig into those levels as well. I think we still have a short that we created at the beginning of this month on 1113 to kind of short up at that 4487 level. And so again, guys, just sticking to the plan. There's really not much has happened since I've been gone. Really, the entire time that I've been gone, it's kind of been like a little bit of choppy price action at the highs, which again, we've talked about in the past. We want to see that because that is kind of setting us up for that continuation higher that we want to the upside. And again, we do have NPOC prints to the upside. We have one all the way at 41557 and 43621. But again, you guys know my entire bias. You know what I'm looking to do during this time. This time is really kind of like look to buy dips, right? You don't want to be chasing on green days. You just look to buy a little bit heavy on red days. And that's kind of what a lot of people have kind of been talking about, right? So this entire time has really been where spot buys and spot trading has been some of the best, because there's been no point to kind of over leverage yourself. Really, I think a lot of people are getting chopped up within this tight zone right here. And for me, it's kind of the opposite, right? I'm doing a little bit of less trading. I'm sitting on a lot of spot and kind of just letting that spot gain the ROI. Yes, there's opportunities on dips to kind of buy based off of NPOC levels and our game plans. And that's kind of what, you know, we're having patience for. There's no reason to jump into a long here thinking that it's going to go all the way up to 40. You know, you kind of want to have patience and get a discount on your entry, whether it be a short or whether it be a long. You kind of have to just have patience to get a discount. And what discount are we looking at? And we're looking at an NPOC down here at 36549. That's where I would like to long next. Again, I don't know if it's going to happen. We are still kind of seeing a little bit of a rejection up at these levels on BTC as far as NPOCs go. So I don't know if you guys have any questions on NPOC levels, but it's honestly pretty straightforward. Not much has changed. And then obviously we want to long lower as well. We've been kind of wanting to long this since, again, the beginning of the month. 1113 is when we kind of created to long down at 35k, long down at 34763, 34457. And again, it didn't quite hit all of these NPOC levels. It touched and closed out 2 out of the 3, but we still have kind of that one lingering, which again is kind of keeping me grounded. I don't really want to long these levels. I would love a wash and a rinse just to kind of clear out some over leveraged longs, kind of late longs, that sort of thing, and then we get like a really good entry down at this level. You know, again, it's going to be at the lower limit of our current range, and we'll kind of get into our current range in just a second, but everything does kind of stay the same. There's really nothing new. The only thing that we can kind of look at is to maybe short this NPOC at 38116. Again, it's resistance, right? This is a very, very clear resistance level that we've rejected once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, potentially 5 times. So I'm not really wanting to long into resistance, right? That's where you look to short. That's where you look to kind of take profits off of, longing from lower. So that's currently what we're looking for on BTC, guys. So we have our long, we have our short. Not going to go too much into depth on this just because we have an NPOC update video tomorrow where I'll probably talk about this a little bit more. Ethereum now, I haven't really looked at Ethereum much, but it doesn't really look like much has changed. The setups that I sent you guys when I was gone were pretty basic. It was just basically like updated levels on NPOCs and updated levels on current ranges, that sort of thing. Nothing too intense. So we'll still keep this as the short, right? This is what we're currently looking at on Ethereum, right? As far as NPOC levels go. So decent situation here where I think it provides some decent opportunities. 2107 and 2078 are the NPOC prints above current price action. And again, depending on what your bias is, if you're short, if you're long, we do have a short-term directional bias to the upside. So I do think that there is going to be a retest of 2107 in the near future. Now, what does that tell us, right? There's two different things that we can do, right? So if you wanted to long towards that level right here and get an entry point and just say, I'm going to long just for the low-term directional bias to get up here and to retest that 2107. That's something that you can do, but I don't really suggest it because it's not really a plan, right? There's no plan based off of that, So for me, I want to see how that level reacts. So I would rather see price jump up to 2107 then potentially short into that rather than kind of longing here. Patience is key when it comes to these setups, guys, and this is just currently what we're looking at. And as far as the long side, unfortunately, ETH isn't really offering much of an NPOC entry other than these ones down here at 1839 and 1796. But again, if that were to happen, guess what? I would be right there willing to long that level. We're going to continue to stick to our game plans. I think we've been looking to kind of long those levels all the way back, at the beginning of this month, 20 days ago. We're wanting, 1796. We haven't gotten it yet. But again, we keep these setups here, right? So that we know it was 20 days ago we wanted to long this level. We haven't gotten it yet. So, if price chops up here for a little bit before we drop to this level, well, we have had game plans for over a month to go and long that level. So there'd be no reason to get bearish. We're still going to stay bullish and long that entry point. So just something that I like to do, especially with this object tree. I think that trading is one of those things that you have to stay organized with. If you don't stay organized, it's kind of hard to continue to trade each and every day successfully. So that's why I use this object tree over on TradingView. But that's currently what we're looking at on Ethereum, guys. Not looking at too much. We have the short, and again, we can just make the long for you guys here too, just because, we're doing it live. Why not? If we get this retest, that's the next area I'm looking to long. And again, this is only based off of NPOC levels. I'm sure we can find some entry points based off current ranges on the low-term time frame, that sort of thing. Again, only NPOCs. Are NPOC levels still valid when you're in a parabolic uptrend? I mean, is it possible to use them in a bull run? You kind of have to just base it on, the setups, right? It doesn't really matter to me if it's a massive bull run or, a massive bear market where we're going to the downside. The only thing that matters to me is these setups, right? So if we're not getting lower, if we don't get 1839 and 1796, then that's just continuation higher. So there's really no need to kind of short into these NPOC levels to the upside. There's just been NPOC prints where we've wanted to long, we wanted to long the 1681, we just didn't get them. We want to long this 1839, so we're just not getting them. And as of right now, we have 2 prints to the upside. So again, it's just giving that directional bias to the upside still. It's just not something that I want to be shorting heavy into. And again, we're just not getting the dips that we want. But that's just based off of NPOC levels. If we look at Ethereum on the low-term time frames, it is offering some pretty decent entry points, right? And so this was kind of the game plan that we were looking at here. So we do have resistance on Ethereum at 2140 level. So that really is the key point that ETH needs to get above for now. And we're kind of just rejecting that and kind of just coming back down into this median ML equilibrium of this current range. But again, this is an entry point for a long. So I'm not sure if a lot of people were longing this or not, but yeah, median ML coming off of upper limit right here is an entry for a support level bounce. And I kind of talked about this in my current range video that I have on YouTube that you guys can go and check out if you want. But the higher conviction areas are still going to be upper limit and lower limit, just like we talked about on BTC. If you want to kind of dabble within the middle, you can, but I like getting entry points like this, get entry points here. And then again, again, I wasn't actively trading during this time, but if we were retesting this upper limit, I would have maybe potentially looked to short into this, because upper limit, if anything, upper limit should just help you not chase long, because this is a resistance and this is a level that you don't want to be giving money away trying trying to long the breakout, because if you're trying to long the breakout, you're basically longing into resistance. And it may work sometimes, right? In certain market environments it'll work, but the likelihood of it working often is not very good, especially in a sideways market, which it's kind of been sideways for, you know, like I would say this month. You know, this month it hasn't really been too exciting. It's been a lot of chop at the highs, but again, we've talked about that previously in videos. Chop at the highs is just setting up for another move. I really still think Sol is kind of gearing up for another move higher into that 80-90 area. I mean, you just look at the daily chart and, you know, it was pretty clear SR flip, or I guess RS flip, and you know, I think I would be willing to long Sol all the way down to about $52, $53 before I move higher. But again, I don't know if we're gonna get that. That's just me and my quick glance at it, where I would probably be longing next on Sol. But again, going into the 15, or we'll just go into the 45-minute time frame, and you can do exactly the same thing that we do on BTC and Ethereum, right? As far as like current ranges go, you have a high, you have a low, you know where upper limit is, you know where lower limit is. You can kind of play based on that, right? You know, just even using these points right here is pretty key as far as, you know, where we've been rejecting median ML. You know, if we continue to reject, look to long this area for higher, you know, same thing. But it does look like we already got the retest a couple of times, so again, it is kind of like wishful thinking to get another retest of lower limit if we've already gotten it once, twice, 3 times. Asking for a fourth is always, you know, kind of a little too much, but you never know. I think that Sol still looks pretty good, which is why it's on my radar continuously. But yeah, you know, I think this is just a good example, right? This is just a good example of kind of transitioning current ranges on, you know, away from BTC and Ethereum. I mean, you can use current ranges on any fucking asset. You can use it on TradeFi, you can use it on gold, you know, Forex, whatever you want. It's just a way to simplify things for you guys to find basic support and basic resistance, right? Because I think a lot of people currently right here thought Sol was going to go completely to shit when it was retesting 50. But at that point, that percentage bounce was about 15, right? So about a 15% bounce to the upside, 16% bounce to the upside from lower limit just to median ML. Great fucking returns on that play for you guys if you were out there capitalizing. I didn't trade Sol much. I had more into Link and that sort of thing. I hope that you guys have a good rest of your night. Again, if you have any questions, please don't be afraid to hit me up. Twitter or Telegram, both names Castillo Trading. And yeah, I will see you guys over in the Telegram. Peace.